Yes, people, you know the face, you know the name. Aaron here, back again with another video live from the Strawberry Arena in Stockholm. Manchester United 0, Leeds United 0. First pre-season game is done. Listen, when it comes to pre-season games, I don't want to say too much because as much as I want to stay objective about the game, as much as I want to say what I think about the game, you've got to remember this is only the first pre-season game. Like, of course, tactics matter. Of course, technical ability and all of the intricacies and the details, they all matter. But you don't want to be too harsh because, again, it's the first pre-season game. There's stuff that I've noticed and there's stuff that I do want to talk about. However, I don't want to be too harsh because I don't want to seem like I'm overreacting because I'm not trying to. If, let's say, the next few games down the line in the US, I think it's West Ham, Bournemouth and Everton. If, let's say, those three are lost, then there's case for concern. Then we can sit down and talk and properly dissect and properly criticize what needs to be criticized. But right now, first pre-season game, it's about fitness. You know, the players have just come back, a week ago, a week and a half ago. You know, they're trying to get their fitness up. It's all about getting the fitness up. It's all about making sure you're at the best possible or in the best possible shape physically. It's about that, you know? So I don't want to say too much. I don't want to seem like I'm overreacting, but I did notice some stuff in the first half. Obviously, two completely different 11s. The first half, the one thing that stood out to me was that we lack players in midfield, because I'm going to talk about Cunha in a minute. We lack players in midfield that are going to drive the ball from one half to the other. You know, we need a box-to-box midfielder that can travel with the ball, not just without the ball, but with the ball as well. I think that's something that United really lack. So that's something that they might have to go into the market for and try and get. Something else that I noticed was that going forward, we really lack threat. You know, we've seen some stuff from Mateus Cunha. We're going to talk about him in a minute as well. We've seen some stuff from Amad Diallo. You know, Chido, bless him, he done okay, but I don't think you can rely on Chido and Rasmus Højlund, who I'm going to talk about as well in a minute, for the rest of the season or for a whole season. I think something tells me that he might go out on loan just to get that experienced as a professional, just to get some minutes under his belt and play men's football on a regular basis, week in, week out. That's my opinion. However, if United decide maybe to sell Højlund, Chido can stay and he can play in the cup games, etc., etc. But Manchester United desperately, and I mean desperately, need a centre forward. I think whoever watched this game today, it's as clear as day that United need another, no, not another forward, but it's as clear as day that United need a centre forward. They need it. Like, there's no debate. You know, Rashford, we'll talk about him at the end as well. Or maybe that's a separate video. With Rashford leaving now, maybe this is the opportunity to bring in two players now, because, you know, the salary, you can split it in two. You bring in a midfielder and you bring in an attacker. There you go. And you've got a revamped attack and a possible revamped midfield, because Bruno is going to play every game. That's just, I've come to terms with it. He barely gets injured. He's always selected by the manager. One of his favorites. He's always going to play. So, you know, maybe that's something to consider. So that's something that really stood out to me in the first half. The lack of threat going forward. I know that Chido had a shot, and I think Cunha was a bit upset because he didn't get the ball. There was a chance that ended up on the crossbar, I think by Casemiro. Same thing happened in the second half. Different team. And I feel like the team in the second half had a bit more about them. Going forward, they showed a bit more. Dalot on the right-hand side as a right wing-back, showed a bit more. Dorgu showed a lot in that half. So, you know, it is looking positive. But again, it's the first game, but it's a pre-season. So you can't really say much and you can't really draw conclusions to that. But I can't stress this enough. Midfielder, striker. Those are the two things that Manchester United need. Because remember, no European football. So we don't need to worry about, oh, we need to play midweek and we need to play in Europe. But no, the only time we'll be playing midweek is around Boxing Day, December. You know, when you have 3 games in like 10 days and stuff, that's when you have to worry about playing 3 games in a row. Other than that, it's 1 game a week. So go and get that midfielder. go and get that striker, I would do so. Like I said, the second team in the second half showed a bit more for me. But again, there's no need to draw conclusions here. They're just trying to keep their fitness up, and they're just trying to be ready for the new season starting. One thing I do like about this pre-season tour, and I spoke to Flex, by the way, earlier. I was speaking to Flex and I said, what I like about this pre-season is we're playing Premier League teams only. We don't need to play European teams because we're not going to face them or any of them in any competition. So United actually do a good thing by playing this summer tour, this summer league, against West Ham, against Bournemouth, against Everton, and then obviously, yeah, okay, cool. We're closing off against Fiorentina, but I believe they're doing that because of David De Gea. But that's a story for another day. So I do think that it's a good thing that we're playing Premier League sides only. I do think so, so that's a very good thing in itself. To close off this video, while I was set up there, I get a notification on my phone, Marcus Rashford to Barcelona, here we go. And I'm just going to pull out the tweet so I know that I'm reading the right stuff. Just bear with me, people. 1 second. So, Marcus Rashford to Barcelona, here we go. Verbal agreement in principle, all parties involved with Barcelona planning for medical tests next days. Loan deal with buy option, details being finalised today, then Man United will authorise his travel to Spain. And another report came out saying that Barcelona are taking care of all of Rashford's wages. I didn't expect this to happen. I thought it was going to be a 50-50 thing, maybe 60-40, maybe 70-30. That allows Man United, like I said, to bring in two players because you can split that 300 plus a week between two players. You get 150, you get 150, or one gets more, one gets less, 70-30, 60-40, whatever you like. This now gives Man United the opportunity to dip into the market again in the next few days and get two players, possibly three. Because I do think that when it comes to the deals that we've made in recent days, Ineos have done a good job. The Cunha deal, the Mbeumo deal, he's coming in as well. He'll most likely be on the tour to the US. Now, with them being good at, doing good deals, you can bring in two, maybe three players and split that 300 plus a week that was paid to Rashford between three players. You can split it, listen, when it comes to Marcus Rashford, I've always said, I'll keep it to the football. Every love story has an end. And this is the end of the love story between Marcus Rashford and Man United. And I think it all started when he himself came out and said that he wanted a new challenge. Now, obviously people have their opinions and they talk about him being stripped away from his number 10 and et cetera, not being able to train with the squad, forced to train by himself. I have little sympathy when it comes to that because, again, it all started with Rashford coming out and saying he wanted a new challenge. And like I said, I believe Marcus Rashford had played his last game in the Europa League against Victoria Pilsen. I said it at the time. I said that is his last game for the club. Now, it's up to him now to go to Barcelona and prove himself. I believe he's going to be playing under a good coach. I believe he's going to be coached well with the coaching team at Barcelona. It's up to him now. It's up to him. There's a World Cup at the end of the season. Who knows? Well, not who knows, but I'm sure he'd want to be part of that squad. So it's up to him now, because if this doesn't go well, he's not part of the squad, he doesn't go to the World Cup, and he comes back to Man United. So I want him to do well. I'm just sticking to the principle and to my point of view of this is what he wanted, because he came out and said he wanted a new challenge. So this is the new challenge. Do I wish him well? Of course I do. Of course I do. However, I don't think that at Man United he had a future. It was just inevitable at this point. So, Marcus Rashford, wishing him all the best. How he's going to do over there, we don't know. It's not a physical league like the Premier League, but it is a very technical league. So his intelligence is going to be questioned. People are going to see, is he intelligent enough to play? In Spain, you have to be very intelligent to play. Having skills is not enough. You need to have a certain level of intelligence and IQ to be playing in Spain, because some of these teams that they play against, in the bottom half of the table, you'd think, it's easy. No, they can bop you off the park. So, I wish him well, man. I've got no animosity, no nothing. So it's a loan with an option to buy. And hopefully he does well so that, United get their money and then next season we go into the market again. But listen, that was it from me. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Shout out to everyone. Support it, man. You lot support got me here to Stockholm, man. This is crazy. This is crazy, man. I'm out here in Stockholm. Don't ask me if I'm going to the US because as of now, I do not know. Listen, this Stockholm trip was not planned. It was not planned. I got a phone call. Yo, Aaron, do you want to... And now I'm here. So who knows? I might get another phone call. Aaron, do you want to US? And I might be on my way. So I'm not going to guarantee anything. But listen, you know what to do. It's road to 17K. It's road to 20K, closing in on 17. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And people, I am out. Peace.